Many of our students over the years have told us something along the lines of, I know that I'm good at cars when looking back at it, but it's so hard for me the first time around. And I get that struggle. It's like every time you review it, the right answer is right in front of you. After reading the answers during the review, it just makes sense, but you didn't pick the right one the first time around, and that's extremely frustrating. You could even think back all the way back to the point where you were taking the test for the first time. Now that you know what answer is right, you realize where you didn't get it, or something you didn't pick up, or a piece of evidence you dropped. And now it's just so obvious, and that can be frustrating for you as well. It's even more disappointing when you found that you narrowed it down to 2 answers, including the right one, and you second-guessed yourself and went the wrong way. We've all been there, and it's taken a bunch of time and a bunch of disappointing car scores for us to realize what's really going on. It leads down to 2 mental habits that a lot of pre-meds suffer from that will dramatically impact your car score in a negative way. And both of them, coincidentally, go hand in hand. The first bad mental habit is overthinking, and specifically overthinking questions. Here are some signs that you might be overthinking. You read the entire passage and understand it well, but you get the questions wrong. You stray away from an answer choice because it feels too easy, or you constantly get stuck between 2 answer choices. The AAMC wants to know one thing, that is, can you apply your understanding of this passage to the question? Now this requires intuitive skill. Most students, we've realized, can read this passage and will know the answer when they go into the question and read the answer choices, but this is where the overthinking comes into play. Those same students who had it right to begin with often start over-rationalizing why the wrong answer should be the one we choose, and we start to talk ourselves out of what is the right answer. The moment that you dismiss the correct answer, or the one that you thought intuitively sounded good, then your mind automatically goes, okay, out of the next 3, the 3 inferior answers, which of these is the next best correct sounding answer? And you start to come up with a rationale for why those might be better than the one you had in mind to begin with. If you find yourself trying to come up with this big complicated rationale to justify an answer, let that be a red flag that you might be overthinking. Take a second, step back, breathe, and let's figure out if there's another answer that you might have been inclined to pick and that you might have dismissed early on. Cultivate awareness. Now we say this often. When you are aware, you will notice yourself making these mistakes. Awareness comes from being present as much as possible. Now meditation and mindfulness techniques can help you apply awareness to your daily life. Now with awareness comes calm and confidence as well. And confidence is a key factor needed in doing well on cars. You need to be able to be confident and trust your instinct when you pick the right answer and be able to go with it without any hesitation or overthinking. Now that's how you tackle overthinking in our opinion. But there is a second mental habit that plagues a lot of car scorers, and unfortunately it's the exact thing that cars is testing you on, and that is decision making. Most of us aren't very good at decision making to start with, myself included. How many hours have you spent scrolling through the countless but somehow not enough number of Netflix options to watch, but still find yourself to continue scrolling? And then how many of you recognize that you're wasting time but still continue to keep scrolling? Here also, this is us as well. Most of us can't deal with these choices to begin with, but then when you add in a time constraint, then when you add in not feeling like you have enough information, then you add in the fact that our choices on this exam can impact the rest of our life, these become near paralyzing. How can we do this if we can't pick a Netflix show? No wonder so many pre-meds feel such anxiety when going through this process. But the funny thing is, this is exactly what the AAMC wants. They want a student that can find a way to power through this. The MCAT was designed to test your future doctor skills, and we like to think that not only do they prepare you to be a good doctor, but they also train you while testing for the MCAT. It's training you to be a good physician as well. Here's how this might apply. Let's fast forward to your future life, and a patient presents to you needing urgent attention. Now, we don't have the luxury of time to go look up everything we might need to know and every medication and every procedure, but we still need to be confident about our decision. We don't have time to overthink. So this is the game that they're teaching us to play. We don't have time to look up everything we need, and we can't be 100% sure, but we need to be confident about our decision nonetheless. That is the key, the feeling of being 100% sure that you are correct. And even in cars, we can't be 100% sure. If we have the luxury of sitting and taking our time and poring over the evidence until we are 100% sure about every answer, we will feel the consequence of the time constraint. When it comes to cars, we need to be okay with uncertainty. We need to be okay with an answer that sounds good enough. We don't have time and we don't have that luxury to go find and be 100% confident about an answer. If a question or an answer choice sounds good enough, then we need to be confident enough to go with it. Don't try to get a full understanding of the passage. For the most part, these passages are boring, and you will use a lot more mental energy than you need if you try to get a full understanding of every passage, regardless of what it's about. Get a good enough understanding so you can find an answer that is good enough for you to go on. Cars is about quick, confident decision making. This is going to be a skill required of you as a physician anyway, so we might as well learn it now. When we are able to cut out our time and be confident about our decision making, we know that this improves car scores dramatically. And just like that, in our car strategy course, we will be showing you a lot more mental hacks that can help you improve your car's performance and in doing so your car score overall. We'll also show you proven passage reading strategies, question decryption techniques, answer elimination methods, and much, much more. At the end of this course and at the end of your time with us, our hope is that you can begin to see cars and the MCAT in a new light as a means of practicing the skills necessary to become a physician. Because when you shift this perspective and you begin to see it in a new light, to see cars in a new light, you can see that they're not just boring, useless passages, right? They're a means to get you from point A all the way to your doctor dream. So let's do this. If you've not registered for our car strategy course already, you can do so using the link below. We will help you demystify this section and show you that it is much easier to master than it may seem at first. You have made it this far, and this is no small feat, but we want to make sure that cars is not the reason that your MCAT score is unbalanced and that medical schools don't want to interview you. And I look forward to helping you increase your car score.